Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Jeff at GeekDriven. You're here for another Team Nerd Herd movies and shows review of episode 6 of the Last of Us. We are here on the Nearing Nirvana channel, and we got some people joining us today for the review. We got Hyper, we got Steve. We probably might have some extra people jumping in later, but Hyper, what's going on? I thought you were at a con.
Okay, so I was supposed to be at a con, but okay, a few factors factored into me not attending the said con. One, I had to get my rear brakes changed.
Okay.
So that kind of that's one of those things you can't really ignore.
Sure, you have to adult.
Yeah, I had to do some adult shit. And then the other thing is, I kind of was taking inventory in the fact that, look, I've been getting to the point that I'm actually trying to sell some of my stuff out. So driving to a con, especially since I've been to one like a few weeks ago, might not be the best in terms of when I'm trying to get into the mindset of liquidating some stuff.
Sure,
I figured I'll just sit this one out.
Yeah, a little counterintuitive to go spend money while you need to spend hella money on your car.
Yeah. The car thing definitely sped up that decision to probably not go.
Yeah,
good decision, sir. How are you doing then? Just you good?
Yeah, man. I actually took today off, so I had a bit more time to actually digest this episode. Whereas usually, when you see these Sunday episodes, you're kind of like, and then I have work the following day. So literally, I have to gather my thoughts after work and then kind of figure out what I'm gonna be saying. So now I had a bit more time to let it simmer, and honestly, looking forward to this discussion.
Good, because then you'll help me because I just got home and I'm in that frazzled mode. So
I hear you.
I might forget where we're going in this episode. But with that said, Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Started the Monday off right. It's come to a close, clocked out and locked and loaded and ready to talk about The Last of Us, man. Yeesh. I mean, Hyper, you're right. I had to wake up this morning, gather my thoughts and be like, what do I want to say? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let it fly freely, dude. I mean, this episode was hype. I was hyped for it, man.
Steve, don't lie. You were lying on your stomach, kicking your legs back and forth while you're thinking about what to say.
Truly. That's a regiment, dude. If you're not twitting, like getting the blood flow through the legs, man, and through all the way up to the freaking top of your brain, man, what is it really?
Exactly.
It's exercise, I guess. So to speak. Jeff, how about you? What's going on with you? What's crapping?
I'm chilling, man. It's Monday. I had a 3-day weekend because I took Friday off. It felt underworked today, even though I worked a lot. Just because there was nobody answering me. Today is a American holiday. Not everybody gets to participate in that holiday though. Yeah, so some of us got work.
Yeah.
I bet Steve was off.
Nah, hell no, I was at work, man.
You didn't went to work? That sucks.
Yeah, it's President's Day and I had to work. Yeah. I was like, ain't this but a bitch.
Right. That's all right. I guess that's what we get paid.
Yeah.
But with that said, Steve, can you send some shout outs to our sponsors and all?
Yeah. Let's get the ball rolling, man, and let's talk the freaking episode because I gotta go with it. All right, we want to use code Nirvana14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price for only 99 cents, man. Again, a wide spectrum of collecting, man. If you're a veteran, if you're into collections, if you're into selling, or if you're into collecting those keys, chopping down those to-do lists, then I mean, you got to have somewhere to track your feed, right? You got to track your collection, got to track the trends, and you got to get those things sold. Every piece of this, hit Nerdvana 14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price for only 99 cents, especially starting it off. You want to also use code TNH10 for 10% off of your purchase over at our friends at Bird City. And Anthony and Laura, man, excellent people to the community, man. They're always coming up with very limited numbers of their covers, and also the curating artists as they go along. They gather artists, friends of this community, man, to knock out these amazing covers, man. If you missed out on those 8 bits, then you missed out. But let me tell you, there's more to come. They just keep Did you guys see that Nintendo Power homage on Friday that went up? Sheesh.
Yeah, what title was it for again? I can't.
I have to go back and look at it, but I saw it in my feed. I was like, look at this freaking beaut.
I remember the cover, but I can't remember the title that it was on.
Which one? Which one are you talking
The
about?
Nintendo Power that was this Friday.
Oh yeah, I don't know the title. It's an indie.
All right.
Okay.
But shout out to the Four Horsemen faction. They're jumping in action. Brother number 1, Brother Rudy. Brother number 2, something Wong. You already know something that's going to happen when he's around. Brother number 3, D'Anime, etc. All right, my bad. I was getting tongue-tied over there. And then all the way from the other side of the pond, it's Glenn 2K12 coming in crystal clear. Or
that fucking tongue, dude.
I know, dude.
I think
that
Glenn
Monday
is getting his coronation tonight.
It's that Magic Monday, bro. All right,
it's a joke because of something backstage.
Resident DJ and brother of mine, Beats by Monster, our brother Eddie, fellow collector as well. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for them beats. Let's go ahead. Oh, Lucy, what's going on?
Hi guys, what's up? Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're good.
No
you're
worries.
good. We're just hollering at the herd chat, and then we'll get into it.
I froze. Okay.
No, you're
I
good.
for a second.
Oh, you're good, girl. GT Key Comic with the keys to the comic community. What's going on? You got brother number 1 up in the building, brother Rudy. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you your Monday was, nice and thorough. All right, and we are all caught up right now. So with that being said, hey, dude, Jeff, I forgot to set the vibe and put the tunes, bro. Let me go ahead and do that.
You could do that. Let's say hi to Lucy.
Lucy.
What's up, guys? Finally, I made it. Too.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you.
Debut.
Yeah.
We were in the chat. We're always in the chat, talking back and forth, and getting certain things that we did like, certain things we didn't like, and then we're waiting. So we're here now. Jeff, go ahead and start it off, my brother.
Well, Lucy, how you been?
I'm
Thank you
good.
for joining us.
Thank you. I'm good. It was a little crazy start of my day. Got to get my car fixed and stuff like that, and it's just kind of
it's a busy day.
Yeah, and then I just kind of lost track of time right now, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I got the notification that you guys started, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It's
She's like, "Wait a minute."
Half the panel had car issues today, it seems like.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm taking my car tomorrow.
Because I was just telling the guys that I missed out on a con. Well, I chose to miss out on a con because I had to get my brakes fixed today. So I had
me
to go
too.
To
Brakes.
See?
Yeah.
Oh, if I have another car issue, I'll cry because my car. I've already had my car issue. I got in an accident and had a new car.
Oh,
damn.
shoot.
Yeah.
Hope
I
you're
better
okay.
not have any issues.
Is it the new one that I drove in with you? Or
No. It's my old Civic that I'm talking about last year.
Okay.
Damn. That's rough.
I was gonna say, damn.
It's all good, but yeah, I'm so glad Lucy's here. This is her first episode with us on the panel. But I know you've been watching the show. First, I'm going to ask you, what have you thought of the show so far? And then I'm going to ask you about episode 6. So
okay, so I like it, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't like. I like some of the changes, but I just don't like that this feeling rushed. It feels rushed. A lot of the episodes, I feel from us, like it's like some important stuff. Some of the action, especially some of the action that they have they living out. I love episode 3. I really loved it. We freaking cried.
Oh yeah.
But I just wish that either they could have done it in 30 minutes, or they could have either have their own standalone series. Like they could have done a 6 episode, a little mini something. Done something else with that, because it was really nice. But I from that I wish that we would have seen. Is it his name is Frank, right?
Bill and Frank, yeah,
how he goes with Ellie and Joel, like helping them like to get to the game, like to the battery, trying to get the battery for the car and stuff like that, and
in the gym area and all that.
Some of that action and how he was like, he was badass. and stuff like that. Some of that more of that action, but because of the action part, I did like that they showed like about his life and stuff like that. But like I said, I wish they would have either done it in like 30 minutes and show more their uh, maybe interaction with Joel and stuff like that, because they kind of like just killed him off, and it's just kind of like, with the story, how does it really connect? Like, yeah, they that's how they met, but I don't get it. And some, like, then I sent you guys that I think it was episode 4 that I messaged you guys, and I was like, I'm not liking this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like not having this.
Like, and and I think it was last episode, right? It's episode 5 when I sent that message. I think that it's like with a lady. What's her name?
Kathleen.
Cat. Cat. She's. I was gonna say
She
Karen. I was gonna say Karen.
That's the instinct.
Yeah. She
Right,
acted like a Karen, right?
Like, her story was. I feel for me it was pointless. Like, I know a lot of people are criticizing her because of her voice and whatever. No, that doesn't. It's just her story was pointless. Like, even the way they wrote her, it's making her look bad. It's not the actor. Like, I like the actress. She's good. I've seen her in other stuff and I really like her. Just the way they wrote her character was just pointless, And like, again, when they go with Sam and Henry, like on the tunnels, they freaking, there was so much that happened there. And I know you guys talked about this last week, but again, they cut all that stuff. They just show a little bit. And then again with this episode, like when is it on their way to meet Tommy, or I don't remember. Yeah, on the way to meet Tommy. I'm trying to remember. Sorry.
You think of last week's episode or?
Just this episode.
Oh, this episode, yeah.
Oh, you mean
left Kansas City to go to meet? Yeah.
Where they jump?
They go to Colorado.
Yeah.
They're in Colorado.
Yeah, like there's like and even after it's just like their journey. Like, I like they've been cutting a lot of the action, and you don't get to see a lot of like the infected and stuff like that. Like, you don't, I guess, I don't know. That's kind of like how I feel so far, that it's just I feel that it's rushed. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I do like some parts and seeing them, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I guess I'm like, I wish I would love to see this part too. How would they have done it? Especially the tunnel part when they split, Henry, Sam, and Joel and Ellie, how they split like 2 and 2. Like, I would have loved to see that, how that would have worked out. But yeah. Sorry, I'm all like,
no, you're
That's
letting
good.
us know.
But from last night's episode, I don't know how you guys take that. Like, how do you guys want to take it? Start it off.
Go ahead, guys. Hyper, Steve.
Should I or?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I'll be up in the top, man. Go.
So wait, do you just want me to give you like my general thoughts first on the episode, or?
Yeah, just general thoughts, and then we'll go through some parts of the episode that we want to talk about.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Look. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I did like the previous episode a bit more, just because I felt pacing wise, there was not as much slow moments, you could say, in last week's episode versus last night's episode. Doesn't mean that it takes away from the episode. It still was well paced. It's just that there was a lot more, I think it was deliberate, because there was a lot more character reflection that was done mostly from Joel's point of view, because you saw a lot of, I guess you could call it growth or progression, however you want to take it, with him, experiencing, displaying emotions that you haven't really seen in the previous, 5 episodes. He's always been walled off, and then you kind of saw that vulnerability to him, which I think was a breakthrough in this episode. To Lucy's point, I do get what she's saying about how like, you know, if you play through the game, there's points between them leaving Kansas to meet Tommy that they do meet groups of raiders and all that. And there wasn't, I mean, really the only action set piece was near the end when they're at the lab. Like when they met those band of cowboys and all that, that didn't really, it was just a dog sniffing them and that was it. So there was a lot of action taken out that was present in the game. But I think that was also probably done deliberately because, like I said, they were trying to emphasize more on the character build. And the thing is, they took a bit of a gamble on this because if you didn't get the right actors like Joel, Pedro Pascal, and Bella Ramsey playing the two, you know, titular characters, this episode would have fallen flat on its face. So it was a big risk, kind of departing from like the action. And again, if you guys notice, no clickers in this episode at all, entirely. So I think it's also probably there. It's almost like they're trying to make that stance even clear. Like this is not a zombie apocalypse show like, you know, people might be expecting it to be. So, and I think this is just another episode to kind of further cement that. But again, like I said, this, like the other 5 episode, actually not so much the last episode, I felt like Joel and Ellie were more of co-stars and it was more of a Sam and Henry episode, whereas this episode we're going back to Joel and Ellie as the focus, I find. So from that point of view, I enjoyed it. I do have my concern though. Like I said, I've been enjoying it up until this point, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers into how the game goes and all that. But the fact that we only have 3 more episodes left in this season, and that we know that the Neil Druckmann said that season 1 is basically the first game entirely. I'm just worried we're gonna have a game. I just hope we don't have a Game of Thrones season 8 situation where, you know, things kind of like start going boom, 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 and then you don't get enough time to breathe. So that's my only concern. But so far, it's you know, I'm enjoying it.
Steve, how about you?
Oh man, I cannot wait. Oh, loose.
It's a good thing I didn't read that.
No, I'm sorry. Lucy hit us with a message. I was like, all right. So, dude, I really enjoyed this episode. Again, I'm not like I haven't played the game to see anything, or like I know Charly has played it, so getting his aspect of things, I'll probably ask him later and go, "What'd you think?" This was awesome because I dig the character development in Joel. You start to see that he is invested in making sure Ellie gets safe somewhere, although he's hiding his emotions. Like, this is just me getting you to the place, and that's that. You see him really like break down as a human being and kind of go into some like traumatic stress, you know. So that was always, I mean, not always, but it was great to see that character development, and then the interactions with his brother and stuff like that. There was so much in that whole episode to really digest that. I mean, I thought the pacing was great, man. I mean, this is me just being entertained by the show, not having any outside influence to gameplay. I dug it. What about you, man?
Nice. I noticed I was muted there. Yeah, I dig it. I actually really like the episode. I mean, I also am going to call back to what Lucy said and what Hyper reiterated. I understand the whole complaint about there's not enough action, there's not enough infected, there's not enough of, there's like more to the story than what we're just seeing, more to the game, and we're not seeing that other side of it, and it feels a little empty sometimes when you watch these episodes. Or like I would I guess characterize episode 5 as like a full episode. We got a little bit of everything that we've gotten throughout the whole series. Plus, we got that big action scenes. We got a couple action scenes actually, but like that's kind of like putting it all together. We got the heart, the cries, the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think episode 5 was probably the most fullest episode we've received so far. So once you go from that to like 6 and you have less action, actually pretty much no action except toward the end, it feels empty, incomplete. So I completely understand your guys' complaint about that. I'm not going to disagree with it. Sure, I would like a little bit more action, but I'm actually enjoying the acting, the writing, and because even though I haven't played the game, I know that there are changes from the game and the actual show, and I actually appreciate that they made these particular choices on purpose. They're not like, oh well, we just want to write this story and we're just gonna play it this way, like it was they're honoring the game by going, okay, well, what can we put in this show that makes sense for people to watch, that translates well, and that still honors the game, where we're still in the same pace, we're still going to get to the points that we need to get to, all the major points. So I feel like they're doing a good job like that, and I mean that's at least from what I'm hearing from people who've actually played the game. So I can appreciate this episode a lot, and I actually I enjoy that part where Tommy and Joel have a conversation. I really appreciate. Is her name Maria?
I believe so. It
Or
sounds
Marie?
right.
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
something
Maria.
like that. I know it's probably Marie. Let's go with Marie. I like her conversation with Ellie. I like Ellie and Joel's conversation. Like those are hard hitting conversations that we need in to be seen in the show at some point. So I guess they just kind of put it all in here. And on top of that, like everything up to this point is building the characterization of Joel and Ellie and the relationship and how they're building that relationship going forward. So we understand that these two people are they're the main characters and we need to see them bond, like seriously bond, so that this show is like crazy, right? Like it just because I already know, I can feel it already just from this episode alone. They're setting her up to actually take care of him. This whole episode, when we got to the end, I feel like it was setting her up that, like, him teaching her how to shoot, her not waking him up, to take watch, right? Like I feel like it was setting her up, and that's I dug all of that, and the actors are so amazing. Oh gosh, let's start from the beginning, where I dug that introduction, like that the first, like the callback to the last episode. So you get that feeling, right? And then they put you 3 months later, and then we meet this couple, which is awesome. I know they're not the same people in the game, but I feel like this comedy of the wife and the husbands, the way they interacted with each other, and then the way they interacted with Joel and Ellie, like that kind of humor and that kind of storytelling adds to it. You're just like, oh, I know that actor, and he's like, you just love the way that they interacted and what they had to say. And then we move on to them going on the journey and finally running into what was it, the Death River?
River
Oh,
of Death
yeah,
or Death
River.
River. One of, I
Yeah,
can't remember
River
how
of
it
Death.
was.
Yeah.
The I-25, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, like they cross it, and they're checking, right? They're shooting out in the air, open, check if anybody will come to it, if there's any infected on the other side, because they've been warned by that couple that all there is death on the other side of that river. So it's I love the whole point where they meet the new settlement where in Wyoming, and just the interaction with the dog. Oh, that was so tense, right? Like you feel it, and this is actually the second moment, because I didn't talk about the first moment, but this is the second moment that we see in the same episode that Joel gets an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Right? Because that anxiety attack right after they left the couple's house, and then that anxiety that he was feeling there that he had no control over, right? The gun's on the ground. He's surrounded by like a dozen people with guns, and that dog could tear up Ellie if the dog smells the infection on her, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everything okay?
Sorry, I got
You don't need to give us like, the full.
You're
You don't have to give us
fine.
the full report.
Oh,
if you
you're
don't
good.
want to.
You're good. Yeah.
You're
It's
fine.
so funny. Oh my god, Mariah. She had literally exploded diaper.
Oh,
It's just trailing everywhere.
oh my goodness.
No, she was in her little bouncer thing.
Oh
And
no.
Sam was like, "What is that?" And it's like poop everywhere.
Oh
I
no.
was like stepping on it. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I get her in the bath right away.
Oh my
Literally.
goodness. Oh.
For the people enjoying the show while you're having your dinner. It's like,
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. That's real life.
Yeah, man. Parent life,
She
right?
is called Mama Comics for a reason.
Yeah. That was her
Yes.
superpower right now. She was like,
Oh my goodness.
And she did that quick. That was quick, honestly.
yeah, I would have just called it a night. I'm like, listen, guys, I'm done.
I was
Yeah.
waiting for her to just go, hey guys, I'll be back another time.
yeah. Fathers would have did that, but
And
not
we
moms.
did like tag team over here. Sam was
Oh.
like he had to wash and clean everything over here while I was giving her a bath
Oh, damn.
really fast. And I'm like,
Damn, I
oh,
am.
that's not something you can just.
I would have probably called off tomorrow at work. Also, I'm like, listen, there's just too much going on.
Yeah, now I need
Yeah, this
now I
is
need
just
a
too
me
much for
day
me. Yeah.
after that.
Oh my god, that is just so. Oh gosh, that was just so funny. Like we're just laughing like that's a day of a parent life, guys.
Oh,
If you guys
yeah.
want children, if you haven't.
There's a memory there. You're all, hey, Mariah, remember that time? She's like, Mom.
And you know what? That all relates to the show, right? Because he lost his kid,
Oh,
and now Ellie's kind of this pseudo replacement.
Like, I was wondering how you guys circle that to the show.
How you like that? How you like that, Hyper?
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
I was like, wait, who
Talking
crapped
about
their pants on the
kids.
show? And the
Yeah,
Talking
speak
about
of
kids.
Hey, you'd
Mom's
crap
gonna
your
be a
pants if you lived
parent.
in that world.
Oh yeah.
That's
We'd
true.
all do.
But people are probably rationing underwear, so I can't really afford to do that.
Oh my god.
No, but hey, Tommy's gonna be a dad, right? So
Yes.
there you go.
There you go.
Gonna have to look at his future. Exploded diapers.
Yeah.
But sorry, what did I? What did I?
Well, we're just talking about the episode. We met the couple. They now Joel and Ellie has met the
Oh,
people who
The
are
couple in the mountains.
yes.
I love them.
See.
I love them. The lady was just so like, like
Yeah. She was all
Yes.
baby.
Yes.
Get ready,
follow
dude.
through first, baby.
I love the couple. She was just like, I met them. Like, she was just so
Gun
chill.
was too far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's like, what are you gonna do?
it was like, oh, I loved her. Like, and I think that's why they were cool with them because the way the lady treated them, they were like, okay.
Hey, give him hot soup. It was cold outside.
The same tone also.
I'm all make my
Laser
double.
I love them. I know that was not in the game, and
No.
how many?
Yes, total 9 episodes, Apollo.
The Tiki Bomb Diver, we don't know. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, like it was not, and I'm glad that they added that. Like someone that is still kind of lives semi-normal, like, but they said they have always lived like that, kind of disconnected from everybody. So it's not a big deal for them. Like I liked it. I like. You need a snack?
They were survivors.
Yes, like they have lived like that. So for them, it was not much of a change compared to everybody else. How now they have to learn how to survive. So I like.
Oh yeah,
it.
they're
I
gonna
like
be
it.
fine. And they're in the middle of nowhere. Where remember, if you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no infected people, right? Because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And if you didn't notice, they are in the cold. and the infected don't move in the cold.
Yeah, dude, they get infected by that weather.
Yeah.
You know,
My
I
bones
never
get
noticed that on the cold, I don't really.
Well, I mean,
mushrooms
to
have a hard
me,
time.
to me, it makes sense just because
Yeah.
they're plant. So
Yeah.
when it gets cold, they slow down their metabolism. So
Huh.
it would just make sense to me that would be the conclusion.
Damn,
So I
Jeff,
mean,
by the science guy.
go
Yeah.
go live out in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, because pathogens travel more on heat than cold surface anyways. So yeah.
That too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So come to Canada, guys. It'll be
Yeah,
you'll be a
yeah.
lot safer.
You're in
First
Canada?
ever, dude.
Yeah.
Live
This was our-
among the mooses.
I know I mentioned this before, but you guys know that this series was filmed in Canada, right? So
Yeah.
Oh
And-
yeah.
this episode specifically, you can clearly, well, I could tell like there were certain sceneries that, yeah, this is definitely like a Canadian, like the Canadian Rockies and all that. So
Damn, it was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
landscaping and everything, dude. I was just amazed.
Well, they
But yeah.
film almost everything. I feel like in a lot of the things is it because it's cheaper.
yeah, I know there's like a
Too.
lot of tax provisions and all that,
Mhm.
that usually like film studios kind of take advantage of. That's why they tend to film up here.
Yeah,
One of
that's
my
the same
favorite
thing.
shows.
The same thing why Marvel does and Disney does Atlanta, or a lot of other people too, because they also give tax breaks. Yeah.
Damn.
So,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No. Where are we
Okay.
going now? Where are we going?
We're
Right,
so
Drive the
now
bus, Jeff.
now that the dog has sniffed both of Joel and Ellie to make sure they're not infected, Joel has his second anxiety attack, but luckily for him, the dog doesn't detect it, and they get to go on to the town because we meet Marie. Is it Marie, Lucy?
Maria.
Maria.
Rudy actually.
Maria.
Yeah.
I think
it's
it's Maria.
Maria.
It's Maria, yeah.
Okay, so they meet Maria, and Maria goes, she has this asking him what his name is, and from the look of her eyes, she knows the name. So, and then we cut to them arriving in the is it Jackson?
Yeah, it's the compound, right?
Yeah,
That's
the
Wyoming,
compound.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So they arrive, and Joel sees his brother, working on a, what is it, like a clock tower or something? Yeah, it's on a scaffold.
Mhm.
And he screams out to him.
Mommy, I like that.
And the way he screamed out, it was like, it was weird. It was uncharacteristic of him.
Like
Right.
relieved,
Yeah,
happy.
and like almost desperate too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and it was a great meeting. There, he's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm here to save you." He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, man.
It's like a, you start to feel from this conversation on, every conversation that they have forward, it's like a lot of tension behind all the words. And you can feel that tension, and you start to get that story of like how, Joel led them, they both killed people, right? This is to survive. They killed innocent people. And knowing who person Tommy is, he's the type of person that likes to save people. He wants to be the hero. He wants to save humanity. So like he's that type of person. So it kind of went against the grain for him. And it felt like it you can feel like it's tore him up all these years, which is kind of why maybe he didn't reach out to his brother to let him know. He also kind of, was okay with the fact that he can connect with his brother through radio or telecommunications, because he was fine with not telling him. So it's like that.
They kind of say, like, they have rules, and he did it, like, so they wouldn't.
But he said it so in a matter-of-fact way, though. Like, it's like, oh, well, I know you're my brother, but I know the rules, and I was fine with it. So, yeah. I feel like it's that tension was just brewing under the surface that whole time. And Maria kind of points to it a lot, especially with like talking to Ellie, talking about who you can trust and who you should tell things to. And so it was a lot of character building in that sense where we're starting to find out the backgrounds of everybody's relationships. So what did you guys think of the whole point, like him and the brother, the sister-in-law, the fact that they're pregnant, and Ellie?
Sorry, can I start, guys?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go for it.
Taking over the show.
Yeah, no, hit it.
Sam's over here shaking his head. Sorry.
No, I said go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Let's hear it.
Ladies first. I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
of course. That's right.
No, I'm just
You're
kidding.
damn right, girl.
No, I really like that part. I did like it. Like, you know, I know again, like the way they argue is a little bit different, but I liked it. I like how Ellie did her interaction with Maria and everything. And something that Sam pointed out when she sees the girl that when she was eating, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" Like the way she was talking was so funny.
Yeah.
And then she's like, Sam was saying, "I think that's the girl. What's her name? Dina."
Yeah, it's an Easter egg for a future episode.
For the season 2 or like the second game. Probably that, you know, maybe that's her. I don't know. But the way she was talking there, you know, and she's like, "Oh, sorry," you know, like very aggressive and like a little savage kid, you know.
Like,
and the kids, they're you can tell she's not as innocent anymore. Like, you know, her mentality, it's like more grown, even though she's still a kid, but she's still like had experienced so much compared to all those kids that probably they've been there for 7 years or so, that they still being kids, you know. You can tell the difference between them and her, and how she sees everything is just like holy crap, you know, like it's not something that she's used to it anymore.
Yeah, the kid was curious and she's not, because she's seen the world.
Yeah, the kids playing and you know, even though a lot of stuff is new to her, you know, going to the movies, like she doesn't know any of that. Like they're more civilized, yeah. And she's like a little savage, like really like growling at people.
She's like Tarzan, like grown up, raised by animals.
She's muggly. Yes. You know, again, my problem is like, where was the attack? You know, when they get attacked and she runs away, like, again, it's just gonna chuck that out.
Fell flat for you.
Yeah, and it's like I was just waiting for it. I was just like, wait to happen, you know. And
I think they just wanted to get to the part where they have that huge conversation where he wants to leave her, and she's telling him that she's lost too, and you know, like that whole conversation. They really, I think, really wanted to focus around that.
Like him, like Tommy taking over.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I see. Like, I just feel like I wonder. Like you guys were saying, it's just like building character and stuff like that. But it's just like I wonder. It's also like budget that they don't want to.
That too.
Do all this, which, you know, people. I didn't physically played it. Sam did, but I was like next to him the whole time. So, and we have watched it. Like,
oh, I thought you were one of those YouTube cutscene people, like that just watch the cutscenes only.
Well, right now, actually, we're watching somebody, like, because it's like we want to, like, the waiting time and stuff like that, like, and missing the parts. You know, we've been watching somebody else, like, because we don't.
Yeah.
Well, because he had it was it the PS3, and it was the very first one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have that, and we don't have the game anymore. He did buy it again. So right now, like, we've been watching somebody else play. So we see you still see everything that we saw when he played. You know, it's almost the same thing. Sure. But no, he did play the whole game. I was his co-pilot. Telling him what to do.
You were his wing woman.
Driver.
Yeah. You were helping him through it.
Wait, were you a co-pilot or were you a backseat driver? Because there's a difference.
Both. Because,
yeah.
I was both
Freaking
because I
hyper.
was telling him, go right there, like watch out over there, like telling him like what to do. I had tried to play, and I'm not good at video games. I can't. I'm not good at it. Like especially when it comes, they have to hold a gun and aim it, and I tried, and I'm just not made for that. I can't, but I love it.
Sure.
So I had watched them play. But was it Yakuza?
Oh yeah, the Japanese game. Yeah,
Yeah, he
Yakuza.
had played few three of them, right? You have played the three of
There's at least 6
all
at
of
this
them.
point.
Yeah, he has played all of them.
Yeah.
And then Uncharted,
Oh yeah.
like a dragon.
Uncharted.
Yeah, like there's like bunch of the heat, but I'm like always watching. And I get into it watching him play. So it's just like I feel like I play.
Yeah. You're winning. You're winning at the end of the day. You're all save. Hey Sam, save our stuff together. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's his is mine, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's like
If he starts playing, you're all, why'd you start?
like I play. Yeah.
I
I got his back.
I feel you. You're yours, wing woman, Lucy. I feel you.
You're the one who pokes him in the side to scare him.
Right. I'm like, watch out! Like,
Yeah, you got to keep him on his toes.
Yeah.
well,
So now, like, seeing all that is like I'm trying to, I hate that it's like comparing it, but it's like I love the actors that it's like I want to see that stuff. It's
Sure.
just good to play.
said-
I'll watch a little bit.
He said,
Yeah, I'm like too anxious. Yeah.
well, where we are in the episode, we finally get to like the meat of it, and they have he tells her to go away, and then the next day he's like, well, now I'll give you a choice. So it was kind of like he capitulated to himself, where he was like he thought he can walk away, but he really couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they just go on their trip now to go to find
In the university.
the fireflies, in the university. And they get there, and there's no one there, just monkeys everywhere.
I like that.
Yeah, I heard it's like the game. And then they get these raiders that follow, that had maybe seen them coming in or had just been looking for people to jack, and they happen to run into him. Joel kills one of them, but in that whole scene, the broken bat that hit the tree gets, he gets stabbed by it, and Ellie's screaming, she doesn't know what to do. And then the other people are following behind, and she's like, we got to get on the horse, get out of here. And they finally get away. No one's following them, but Joel can't make it any further and falls off the horse. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Like Hyper, what do you think of this whole, ending, the city, Tommy?
So, all right. So I'm gonna backtrack a bit.
Okay.
Before we get to the city, I do like the fact that they at least, and I was hoping that they would address it at some point, that she does open up to Joel about her trying to save Henry in the last episode, because I was worried that when they did the 3-month jump that we're just gonna not even acknowledge what happened in the previous episode, which I think would have been wrong. I think you kind of had to have some kind of callback, because that was a pretty heavy episode, and you kind of had to show like a bit of a nod to it. And so I'm glad that she opened up to Joel.
True. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so and to Joel's part, like he could tell, like before that he was like it's a bit too late to be asking if it'll work, but then he kind of realized that she was feeling pretty shitty about like not being able to save Henry, so that he's trying to do his part by saying, listen, it'll probably work because Marlene said so. So you can see that Joel is trying to be that anchor for Ellie, because she needs it at this point, because she's been through a lot, and most normal 14-year-olds shouldn't have to go through.
And you keep in mind that it's actually 3 months later that she tells him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that means
true. That's another thing. That is so true.
He figures out that it's been eating at her for 3 months.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, to be honest, I was that was kind of like my little bit of a pet peeve in the beginning sequence of the show.
The
because-
jump.
Well, not so much the jump, but it just felt like especially with the whole comedy. Like, don't get me wrong, I especially like the actor Graham Greene, who's actually a Canadian, Dances with Wolves.
Okay, here we go.
I can appreciate the comedy, but it's just that after what we just been through in that last episode, to kind of start off with a bit of levity, I'm like, I really hope that we address what just happened. Like, you can't just ignore it. So that's why, like, okay, at least they did get to it after the fact. So that I can appreciate. And look, and this is my issue sometimes with not to throw too much shade, but sometimes some of these like movies like MCU or sometimes even DC to some extent, where you shoehorn in comedy and it seems forced, and it feels like there are certain situations where I don't need a laugh, like, just let's. But then I find that Last of Us does a good job of, look, if the whole episode was completely a downer from top to bottom, it's kind of like you're just getting one range of emotion. So I'm glad that they do sprinkle in that little bit of levity whenever it needs to be. Like, it's not like haha all throughout, but they do enough to kind of give you a little release on tension. So that I appreciate. As far as the whole dog sniffing thing, it's funny because that wasn't part of the game either. The whole, because the thing is, you never know how these situations play out, especially because technically she's immune, but you don't know how the dog would react to her because she's been bitten, and and in the reader it does show up as infected, right, on the scanner. And the funny thing is, like, we were watching with my cousins and all that, and they have a Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler actually lunged at the TV when the dog was coming to sniff Ellie. So we actually had to pull our dog back while we're watching the episode. So yeah, it got intense. But
So she detected her.
sorry,
She detected her, the dog. She was like,
no. Our family Rottweiler was lunging at our TV because it was getting too real for him.
Yeah.
So we had to pull, like, basically my cousin's like, I guess I'll be getting a new TV. Like, we literally had to pull him back, and it's only after the Rottweiler started playing with Ellie. I not like, what is it, the German Shepherd?
Yeah.
Then he kind of calmed down. But when he was barking, our dog was barking also. So yeah,
That's funny.
but so the thing is, this is what I appreciate about him meeting Tommy. The thing is, this whole season, Joel's been getting one L after another. So it's kind of nice that for once, he got a bone thrown his way and he actually experienced some feeling of joy. And I'm not just talking about like the puns that Ellie's, but those are like mini joy, but an actual really, like, because his whole MO was to find Tommy. So he found Tommy. So it's nice that he actually accomplished what he set out to do. So that I appreciate. And the whole settlement situation, I'm kind of glad that, whenever, like, if you guys have watched The Walking Dead, it became a cliche where when Rick and his group meet a settlement, it's like, okay, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and to figure out what's behind the settlement, like what kind of issues, like, like, it's too good to be true. But so I'm kind of glad that it didn't go that predictable route, and the settlement was actually a decent settlement. There was no there was no underlying issue, like agendas behind it, other than Joel taking exception to the fact that he felt that they were like in a communistic regime. Like,
Yeah, that was funny.
yeah. So it's
touche.
you can kind of see, like, I don't know if they're trying to sprinkle in some of that political commentary or not. I don't know. I wasn't reading too much into it, but I can see how some people may, like, with the whole, like, they're explaining their whole democratic process and all that, and then Joel, and you could tell that it kind of rubbed Joel the wrong way about how things were run.
Mm-hmm.
And just the whole scene in the cafeteria, like, I don't know, have you guys ever been around someone where they don't have to say anything, but you already have an uneasy vibe? Like, when Joel was like hearing what Tommy was saying and what Maria was saying, if I was Ellie, I'm like, I'd also try to cut the tension too, because Joel's body language wasn't exactly very,
Yeah, dude, he was ready to
welcoming,
like, very inviting, right? So And that's again, this is another.
He was being like extra protective. I'm like, that's your sister-in-law, homeboy.
Yeah, but see,
Yeah.
that's a testament to Pedro Pascal's acting. Like
Sure.
he does a good job in terms of not having to say a lot, but saying a lot in just the way he
Body
emotes.
language.
Yeah. So I really, because the thing is, it wasn't like those heavy expositions like, hey Tom, like he didn't have to do like, hey Tommy, I thought you did. It says you could read in his face, his body language, what he was experiencing, and to be honest, I was kind of feeling that tension also. So that was nice, and the whole thing with Ellie being like almost like, what do you call it? Like she was being uncooperative clearly when Tommy and rightfully so. Like she's been through hell and back, so for her to come to a settlement where everything is very peaceful and all that, that's a bit of a jarring. I'm sure she probably can't compute because she's probably also building a level of mistrust in a lot of people at this point. So now and also, I don't know if she's been around that many people like lately, right? So I'm sure that's also another thing, because she just basically been on trek with just Joel and her. And also I'm assuming the last 3 months that's pretty much been the situation. They probably met some pockets of people here and there. This is the first time they're actually meeting a community. It's like, like if you've been living in your house like during the pandemic and you've been a shut-in, and then suddenly you're going out for the first time, you'd probably be like, oh shoot, okay, what do I do? Like,
yeah, oh for sure.
I'd probably be like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Bartender.
See, I have a question for you guys. Like, again, me with my changing things, again at the end, how they, the scene. You guys played the game, or you guys seen it and everything, right? Like how it is with the university. You have, okay.
I haven't played the game.
No. On the university, he has to fight a bunch of them and kills a bunch of guys, and in this one, and the way he gets hurt, it's different. He falls off the second floor and lands into a thing. Stabbed, and Ellie has to help him out while they're still getting attacked. And there's like a bunch of, like, I think after he gets that, it's like 3 or 4 more people that they have to kill before they get out of there. And I think they kill everybody who attacks them. Like, how did again, I feel like they cut that.
So the thing is,
and there's infected, and there's a bloater too. There's infected plus the infected and a bloater right there. And none of that was shown. And it was
I think it's also because and again, this is probably because that they're working with 9 episodes in a season. So I feel like that's why they I guess they realize they gotta pick their battles when they take these action set pieces.
2 seasons though.
Sorry?
They could have made this 2 seasons.
They could have, but I think the Druckmann already said that the first season is just going to entirely be on the first game. So, and I think second season is going to be on part 2 of the video game. So, so because of that, for whatever reason,
I'm liking it. I just don't like it how rushed it is.
And that's my and again, I know Jeff and Steve, you haven't played the game, and I kind of wish I didn't, because that way, if I came in cold, I wouldn't have the same. I don't want to say anxiety, but like but
our
I'm kind of like,
expectation is different. Yeah, if they're different, and we want you should guys go right now and then start. Jeff and Steve, watch it like that. I'll send you guys the link to watch it. And then stop like where we're at before you watch the next episode, so you guys can see like, oh, huh?
And I'll have to for sure check it out. If you guys had to rate the episode, just because we're getting close to cover lovers.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you guys are fine. This is
you want to kick
no. If you guys had to rate it, what would you guys rate it? Let's get the rating out, and then we'll go ahead and close out the show. Out of what you expected on the show. Jeff, 5? What did you have? Yeah, out of 5. What did you get, Jeff?
Oh, I give it a 4.5.
Okay. Lucy?
I would say 4 because I liked it. I just hate that they cut it so much.
Hyper.
I'm right there with Jeff. I gave last week's episode a 5, and because I felt this was a notch below it, I would say a 4.5.
Okay. Yeah, I would go 4.5 as well. I dug it. It was still, right up my alley. But now that I know that there's more stuff, I'll have to check out the game. and get hype about it, Lucy.
The one that we're
Send
watching
it to
is
me, girl.
it's good. I'll send it to you.
Just I mean, obviously
You're
be
doing
careful. Don't go too ahead of it yourself, and then watch
Sure.
stuff like
yeah. Don't spoil stuff for yourself.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't ruin it for myself. I'm all Jeff. What the hell? Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and close it out. Before we close it out, we're going to go ahead and use code Nirvana 14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price at only 99 cents, guys. Cover price. It's your tool as a collector. Advantages galore. You guys go ahead and use Nirvana 14 for 30 days of unlimited cover price at only 99 cents. And then use code TNH10 for 10% off your order over our friends at Bird City. Laura and Ant are amazing to this community. Again, you guys, very limited quantities of some banger covers. And you know what? The artists are carefully selected, guys. So they're right there. You're already winning. So TNH10 for 10% off your order. And Jeff, you want to take us out, my brother?
Yeah, I want to thank Lucy and Hyper and yourself for being on the panel. Thank you for reviewing episode 6 with me. To everybody else, thank you guys for joining and watching, and leave a comment, let us know what you guys thought of the episode. But for now, if you want to do it right, watch what you like. Couch potatoes for life.
Bam.
Thank you.